Do. What? There we go. Hi, Helen.
Hello, are we live?
We are. We're live. And it's me, Jennifer from Little Metal Foxes with
Julia from Little Metal Foxes in my studio. Jennifer came
in
over
Seattle.
today.
And we've got
Helen.
Oh, sorry. Me, Helen, in Australia.
live from
Not awake
Stanford.
yet.
Here, I can change
We're
our
actually
names.
distracted by doing other things. Maintenance, video stuff, but still. Anyway.
Yay.
Blah,
Hello.
blah, blah.
Hello
Hello.
there. So, Julia taught a workshop this weekend on how to do Keum-boo.
Right.
And it is a beautiful technique, the Korean technique of adding gold to the surface of silver. And
So you can do it on other metals too. You can do it on steel and you can do it on copper.
yeah, so one of the biggest tricks is to get it lined up exactly where you want it.
Assuming you want it lined up, right? Like if you want to just go organic and you just kind of put a little bit of color on wherever, that's fine.
Right.
But if you have a plan and you want it to be in a very particular spot, that can be a little tricky.
Yeah, like something like that.
Right. The little sort of needle
Yeah.
shapes are sort of organic and just sort of put them wherever.
However,
Yes. However.
you found a new way to stick stuff to where you want it.
Yeah, I tried a little experiment because in the past what I've done, here, let me turn on this and then we can show you what I'm talking about. So in the past, what I've done is a technique that basically used a cut, I had pierced out the plate, right? And so I would sandwich, in this case, it was a leaf skeleton between this brass plate and a piece of fine silver, and then run it through the rolling mill. And so the result was a piece of metal that had the little dragonflies are raised up, right? So they're raised up a little bit above the surface. And then afterward, after I had done that, then I cut out some dragonflies using the same punch, right? So this is a little paper punch. I cut out dragonflies from the gold foil and attached them, but it is very difficult with something that's got all these little bits hanging off of it to get the registration right. So you can see, I was close, but I was slipped down a little more like the Sunday comics from our childhood. In this case, it was really off. Um, Sometimes it's because the gold itself, it's so flexible that it'll just decide where it wants to be, and then that's just where it has to be, right? Because it's so thin, you really can't reposition it when you're working on a hot sheet of metal. So I tried a different technique this time around. In this case, I took perfectly smooth fine silver and I stuck my little gold dragonflies down first. And you can see some of the registration, or they didn't line up perfectly. Like this one, his little wing, he's like waving. Exactly. This one, the tail was sort of bent a little bit. And actually, I think this one's had a wing that was messed up a little bit too. And then what I did was what happened to my little cutout? Oh, here. So I cut out from manila file folder, using the same punch, some little guys, and I used a little bit of glue stick and I glued them on
This is
over
after you've applied the
gold.
gold. So
Right.
it's stuck down to the
It's
surface.
stuck down to the surface. And the advantage of doing it this way too is that I'm sticking the gold down to a perfectly flat surface. And so it's a little easier to get the gold adhered because it's completely smooth. If you're putting gold on something that's got texture, you have to work a little harder to make sure that it's really adhered well because it's really easy for it to lift up in the spots where there's texture. So after I adhered the gold to the perfectly smooth surface, then I glued with a little bit of just a scotch of glue stick. I glued it on here and I actually took it. I don't know why this one is being a little weird, but I took it and bent his little wing and glued the wing there
to match the gold.
Match the gold so that it was the
All
manila folder was
perfectly lined up.
registered perfectly over the gold. Then I put leaf skeleton over it. Then I put just plain brass, ran it through the rolling mill, and then with some water and washed off softened up the paper and pulled that off. and it's still not 100% perfect, but it's a lot closer because you can see all of these little dragonflies weren't perfect. They weren't exactly
Mhm.
like this. Um, this one, its tail was bent a little bit. That one's kind of waving. This one, I think one of these was coming down a little bit. And so I was able to manipulate the paper a little more effectively.
Hmm.
And I ended up with this nice texture. You get this slightly pebbly texture from the manila
Mhm.
folder. These were completely smooth. And then these have a little bit of a texture. And then these are
I was
embossed.
gonna say this side's embossed, right?
Right.
There you There you are. This
Yeah.
side's embossed.
Right. So these, if you look, let's see if I can do it this way, you can get them in
Yeah.
focus. You
So
can see this one is raised up a little bit,
yeah.
and then this one is embossed into the surface.
So this is below the surface,
Right.
and this is above the
This
surface.
one's below the surface. Get even closer.
Yeah. So they're pressed down, and it's weird because the camera makes it look like it's
The camera's making
floating.
it look like it's floating, but it's not. It's actually embossed in. So there's an
Can
edge
you flip
there.
it around and see the,
So you can see that. So you
What's the
can,
backside look like?
and then this, it just pushed a little bit of it to make it. Yeah. I mean, you can see here,
yeah,
there's a little edge
Mm-hmm.
down. It's like impressed in. This, it's raised up.
Mm-hmm.
So this edge here is isn't registered, but this part of the metal, the smooth bit, is above the surface of the back plate.
Mm-hmm.
But the surfaces look really different because this one got shiny because it's smooth, it's on the smooth part, and then this has the texture.
Well, because this one's facing brass, right? This one has it's rubbing up against the brass.
Actually, this wasn't rubbing against
Or
anything.
nothing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just pushed into the void
Oh,
in the
right, right,
brass
right.
plate. And so
So there's
this
nothing touching that surface.
nothing touching that surface. So this is the same shine smoothness of the original parent metal. This has the texture, the sort of slightly pebbled texture of the manila file folder, which is a texture I quite like. I've used the
yeah,
index cards and manila file
it is
folder
nice.
a lot. The other thing that will happen, the only other thing that will happen here that is sort of notable is you can see some of the line there are because
Yeah, the deeper
the leaf
lines.
skeleton was on top of the manila folder, it did compress and make a little line in a couple of places.
Hmm.
And you will not get those here because here, since there are gaps in the brass where these are, um, any place where there's well, I sort of positioned it really well, but any place where there's a heavier vein, it just pushes up into this opening, and so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make a mark on the metal.
Yeah.
But it's two different approaches to registration. Either
Mm-hmm.
try to register the shape after you've made the shape, or register put the gold down and then put something else to kind of delineate it.
So this one you're adding the gold to the texture,
Right.
and this one you're adding the texture after you join the gold.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's a good way to think
Yeah.
about it. Is that this one is post texture and this one is pre texture.
Gotcha.
But again, depending on how, I mean, this was an experiment that I felt worked really well. And so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's two different looks. It's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
So one of the other things is a different look is the gold is different on these.
Different colors, yes. It's hard to tell in here, but the gold on this is a more yellow.
It's a brighter,
It's a
brighter
more
gold.
gold color, and this has got a more orange cast to it. It's a little um darker. This gold is the 23.5 carat Keum-boo foil from Rio Grande, and I'm pretty sure that what this is the stuff from Allcraft. I'm not 100% certain because it was the leftovers from a class I took with Camelia Kim many years ago, but I'm pretty sure she was sourcing her Keum-boo foil from Allcraft.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing is just to point out that not all Keum-boo foil is created equal, and so you can get some color variations even if the foils are, even if they're marked as being the same carat, 23 and a half,
What they add to that is going to change the color.
that half a carat is going to change the color, can change the
Yeah.
color a little bit.
Yeah.
Because yeah, this is definitely
They have more copper in it.
more orange. Um,
This probably has just silver.
who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, things like that tend to be proprietary alloys where they're not going to tell you. So,
Yeah.
but
So
I think the orange color,
brass,
sorry,
how thick was that? Your brass, how thick was
the
that?
brass. Oh, that's a good question. I think this was 18 gauge. Let's just
And
check.
I'm assuming that you actually hand sawed those out. You didn't punch
I
those.
did. I do. Yeah, you can't punch those out. What I did, in
Yeah.
fact, was I punched out.
I was about to say, oh my God, you actually did punch them?
No, 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 no. I punched out.
These things are really durable.
I punched out the little manila file folder guys and glued them on with
Yeah,
glue stick probably, and then drilled and sawed them out. Right. So I sawed them out by
yeah,
hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've used that plate a bunch.
I have. That's one of the big advantages of a plate like this. And you don't have to use the whole thing. It's a little distorted. It's hard to see, but the edge is a little distorted because obviously I've rolled through just a portion of it, right?
Mm.
Like I didn't roll the whole thing. And that will negatively affect your plates over time
Yeah.
if you apply pressure unevenly to
Yeah.
them.
So if you're always using a plate that's the same size or slightly larger than your rolling plate,
Yes.
it's going to extend the life of
You
your
will extend the life of your rolling plate. But I also made this and it didn't take that long. And so it's like,
You're not expecting this many uses out of it at this point, I'm sure.
oh no, I was. But
Okay.
then I've also let students use it. And
Oh,
so,
it's really held up.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. You can see it's
Awesome.
got a bit of a bow on the edge here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I
Cool.
mean, if you're going to do that with a brass plate, do it with something fairly thick, like at least 18 gauge. I mean, there's sort of if you get too thick, it's going to be hard to saw it
Mm.
consistently, but 18 is good or 16 because it'll hold up. It'll just
Yeah.
resist. It resists change more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you run it through the mill before you saw it, it's going to be really hard to start so if it's work hardened
Oh,
before
I
you
see what you're
start,
saying. If you thin it down a little bit before you even start so that it's work hardened.
well, even if
Yeah.
you run it through the mill once or twice, not even to thin it too terribly much, but just to work harden it
Mhm.
slightly more. Yeah.
The one downside to that might be that you get a little curve in it, and that
Mhm.
will make it a little harder to saw because when it's perfectly flat, it's easier to saw.
That's true. So, what other ways can you stick down the Keum-boo to the surface? You can use, you're saying like organic materials, like
Yeah, if you're going to do it, if you're going to position the Keum-boo foil cold before you put it on the hot plate,
right,
you do need to use something to hold it. So like gum tragacanth or gum arabic, but very dilute. You want some kind of organic glue that will burn off because you don't want it to impede the.
like almost like clear fire or something that's really
I
thin.
tried clear fire, but I think and we should definitely ask Catalina Anderson because I know she does this technique and
Yeah.
find out what she uses.
Well, I know in working with enamel, that's something they can use is clear fire to kind of get it to go
To
down.
even like
But they're
a
heating
sugar
it much
water
more,
could,
That's
right?
could
true.
work.
Sugar
Yeah.
water, sugar water.
But they're heating it much more. You're only heating this to 700 degrees.
Oh, that's true.
So if you're enameling, you've got a much higher temperature and those organic things are going to burn off. So
True.
you want to minimize the amount of stuff you have in there.
Right.
Just
So you just
because.
need a little tacky. So even like
Yeah.
distilled water is enough to kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Even
You have to make sure
even
it's strong.
probably possibly, tell me if I'm wrong, very watered down Elmer's.
Because
No?
most of those are like PVA glues. They've got some synthetic. They've got some these
Vinyl.
days it has other things in it,
Yeah.
right? So it has to be if you want it to burn off, it has to be organic. So
Yeah.
lily root powder, hide glue,
Sugar.
sugar, maybe some, gum tragacanth, gum arabic, who was
Yeah.
it? Jeanette Keynes was talking about quince somehow. She uses quince in this, again, something that's entirely organic. And if you want it to be vegan, it would have to be like gum tragacanth or gum arabic because hide
Yeah.
glue obviously is made from hides, and so it's not vegan.
Right. Well, cool. Thanks, Julia, for
Yeah.
sharing your
That's
tips on
awesome.
Keum-boo. And it's not too late to sign up for that if you're because right now it is the 1st of September, 2nd of September, and the video is going to be up for 60 days.
Right.
So
It'll be up until Halloween.
Yep.
So yeah. So if you're this is a little bit of if you're watching this later than 2 months from now, that's not an option. But if
Yeah.
you're watching this in the next few days, you could still sign up for the
Yeah.
class, go to the website, and you can get all the other tips and tricks that we
That's right.
covered.
Have a great, great week. We will see you. Make sure, did you like this? Did you hit your like button? Hit your like button for us. And I know you can go back in time and watch over 200
I think we're up to like 211 or
cool
212 or
tips.
something. I know it's
We've got a
crazy.
bunch of them. So yeah, you can go back in time and watch it if you're ever trapped someplace alone and the only channel you have is YouTube. Tune in. So like, subscribe, ring the bell, when we're live, and we always look forward to your comments. If you have a tip that that works for this, put it in the comments below. We want to hear. If you have questions, let us know. And have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week on Tooltip Tuesday. Bye.